September 2007, Burmese people, led by Buddhist monks, took to the streets to demand an end to the military regime of Tan Shui in Myanmar,
a country that pro-democracy advocates referred to as Burma.
In response, the military brutally cracked down on the demonstrators,
eliminating any hope that the military junta would give up its power. Mae Sot, a Southeast Asian trading town on the border between Thailand and Burma, is one of the few places to get an understanding about what's happening in Burma these days.
After the uprising in September, more than 100 people fled here,
including Buddhist monks who were living here in hiding.
Ga Si Ta was one of the leaders of the Saffron Revolution.
To some foreign observers, the Karen National Liberation Army are considered the good guys, defending the Karen people from ongoing attacks by the Burmese military.
But some human rights groups also say they've been known to demand labor and supplies from local villagers, recruit children to be child soldiers, and plant landmines.
This ragtag rebel army is grossly outnumbered. For every one of them, there are at least 25 well-equipped Burmese soldiers.
In a small army barracks, we met Sol Kabal Lai.
He said he joined the Karen National Liberation Army to stop the Burmese military from wiping out the Karen people. After leaving the KNLA headquarters, we headed downstream to meet some Karen people who had fled their homes.
We stuck close to the path, having been told that the area is heavily mined.
The Karen are one of the largest ethnic groups in Burma. 500,000 people have been forced to flee their villages because of attacks by the Burmese military. Thousands have been imprisoned or killed.
Ma Wa fled here several years ago. Before he came here, the Burmese military attacked his village and shot 3 people who tried to run away. He was taken by the Burmese military and forced at gunpoint to serve as a porter and dig holes for the soldiers. He was treated as a slave.
When we returned to Mae Sot back in Thailand, we visited the Mae Tao Clinic, a health center run by Cynthia Morang, a Karen doctor.
The clinic treats more than 120,000 people a year. Patients are mostly villagers from Burma. They are permitted to come across for the day for medical care. They get treated for everything from landmine injuries to malaria.
Can you tell us about this board?
This is like a monthly with the patient chart. Like when they come from what kinds of injury or something like that.
So they're all men, yeah?
Mostly men.
They're all men. And this is diagnosis, mine. What are these, mine also? Landmine, rapid mine, carpet landmine. All these are landmine, yeah? In the surgery ward, we met a retired British doctor who trains young Karen medics.
There are more landmines along the border now than there were in Cambodia. So, and nobody knows where they are. So the cleanup is amazing if we ever get to a cleanup.
Before we left, we met with Joya Pan, a former Korean refugee who's now a spokesperson for the Burma campaign in the UK.
For decades, my people have been suffering so much from ethnic cleansing and facing the most worst of human rights violations, and millions of people have been driven from their homes and thousands became refugees. This thing still happens in this 21st century, and it is unacceptable. And I really think that the world needs to pay enough attention to these people and stop human rights violations in eastern part of Burma.
Despite the military government's promise of multi-party elections in 2010, human rights groups say the crackdown in Burma is far from over.